Ladies, ladies, ladies. Today we are here tonight on the sheet. And today we have we actually have a lot of news, and then we're gonna do Dynamite recap. But let's get going. AEW has set up new rules. The biggest one is they don't want any chair shots anymore that are unprotected. So you can still obviously take chair shots, but they want the wrestlers to kind of like put their hands up and protect themselves. So like remember like that first night, I think Cody Rhodes. What was it? Was it a Dustin Rhodes versus Cody Rhodes in that first match at Double or Nothing back in 2019, and he just took a chair shot, and then so they want them to like put their hands like this to try to protect themselves, just in case the other guy accidentally hits them. At least he can kind of protect the shot by putting his hands up. So it's better to maybe if you're gonna hurt your hand or your finger, then you freaking mess up your head and get a concussion. Another thing, they don't want them to hit them with the back, like on the back of the head anymore. Because obviously, it's really hard to put. How the hell you can't put your hands like this? So no more back in the head shots. Also, they want the wrestlers when they're out with the fans to like. I guess they've been like a lot of times they get blood on the fans when they're out wrestling out in the crowd. They don't want them anymore. So I wonder if. What's probably going to happen is when they do blood, they're not going to be able to go out to the crowd anymore because they've been getting. It's a lot of these guys. What they do too is some guys I think they do paint, but some other guys they do go. What they do is they're backstage and they cut themselves with a blazer, and then you probably close it out with like Vaseline or something. But then again, by the first shot, even just by probably poking them with the finger like this in the forehead, it opens them up again. So it's like legit blood. And it possibly times falling on the fans when they're out fighting with the crowd. So they don't want that anymore. And also the other thing they talked about is when they do like a spot when they hit somebody with like a chair multiple times, or like they put somebody to a table or something like that. They don't want the wrestlers to like when they're laying down pretending they're having a seizure. You see a lot of wrestlers like they'll start shaking on the ground, on the mat, on the stage after they take a big shot, maybe a big body slam. They don't want that anymore. They don't want wrestlers pretending they're having seizures, trying to sell that they're hurt. Just don't move, I guess. Or grab like a fucking shoulder or like a freaking leg, but don't be shaking around like a fish that's taken out of water like he's having a seizure. So those are new rules for AEW going forward. But at least they still have blood. They just cannot get the blood on the fans. So that's the only thing that's probably going to change. They're just probably not going to be able to. If they're doing blood, they're probably just not going to be able to go out and fight with the crowd. But outside of that, they should be fine as far as the blood goes. And the share shots, whatever. You're just going to see them put their hands up like this now. But I don't think it's going to be that bad. But we'll see how it goes. Power Hop said his mentor is Mark Henry. He said, that's my mentor. He's been mentoring me since I got here. Yeah, I can see that, man. That kind of the same style. Jim Ross was asked in an interview when he's coming back. He said, I don't know. I'm targeting All In, but I'm not sure yet. Of course, he was supposed to do commentating along with Nick Kelly and Malachi McGinnis is on Collision, but he can't. He fell off the stairs or something, and he's recovering. Ronda Rousey, there's some people that think she's leaving WWE because she's going to go back to UFC. But Ariel Helwani says that is not the case. I've been told she's just probably going to retire and just be like a mother and a wife, a housewife. But that is not the case. That she plans to go back to UFC when she leaves WWE. Kurt Angle was doing an interview, and he said it's a damn shame that WWE didn't use Bobby Roode the right way He said back in NXT, they did use him the right way. But when they put him on the main roster, they didn't. And now with this neck injury he has, I don't know if they're even going to. It's a damn shame, man. So he was just pretty much disappointed that Bobby Roode, WWE could use him a lot better, and they haven't. They know he has a bad neck injury. We don't even know if he's going to be the same ever again. Dave Meltzer said the Creed brothers, there's been a lot of people saying they're going to get called up to the main roster, but Dave Meltzer said that's not the case. They're still going to remain in NXT for now. All right. John Cena is making a new movie. Now he's going to be a Barbie. So we did have The Rock a few years ago do the Tooth Fairy and had a tutu on. And now we're going to have The Rock be a Barbie. We're going to have John Cena be a Barbie. They might be paying him a lot of money to dress like a Barbie. Booker T says it doesn't matter if LA Knight has a championship or not. This guy's over as hell. They got to put a rock and send him to the moon. Everybody's a big fan of LA Knight, man. Jesus Christ, man. Hopefully soon, man. Naomi pretty much talked about how, like the last 3 years, the last year or so, when me and Sasha left WWE, we didn't really talk to anybody but ourselves. Occasionally, Bailey and Tamina would call us, but it was basically me and her, and we were trying to figure out this whole thing out. So that means that maybe the reason they didn't go back to WWE is because outside of Bailey and Tamina, none of these women or even of this man were kind of on their side. So maybe they kind of felt alone. Maybe that's part of the reason why one went to New Japan and the other one went to TNA. Because that's crazy. They were paying a lot more money in WWE for. But it's kind of weird they didn't go to AEW. They decided to go to the smaller companies like New Japan and TNA. That's pretty interesting how they could have easily gone to AEW. So we'll see what happens, man. Maybe in the future they will. WWE was set to possibly do an Australia tour and even do like an event in Australia, like a pay-per-view, maybe like in the fall. But it looks like it has been canceled now. And that's why they took forever to announce the pay-per-views, Payback and Fastlane, because they were trying to figure out if maybe they're going to have a pay-per-view in the fall in Australia. But apparently for now, that is no longer the plan. And that's why the pay-per-views have been announced: Payback in Pittsburgh and Fastlane in Indiana. And then obviously Survivor Series in Chicago. But apparently that's why it took forever, because they were trying to figure out if they were able to do another pay-per-view in Australia. And last one is Dave Meltzer saying the plan is to do another match, a rematch between Seth Rollins and Finn Balor at SummerSlam. A lot of people I thought it was fine, but a lot of people did not like the match they had at Money in the Bank. So we'll see, man. We'll see what happens, but it looks like they're saying it's going to be for sure a rematch at SummerSlam coming up. So we'll see what happens there, man. I think we went all over the damn news. All right, let's do freaking Dynamite now, man. Freaking Dynamite. What was the date? Let's see here. I believe it was July 12, 2023, if I'm not mistaken. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All righty, let's go. Hopefully, the Monday Night Raw was complicated. It frustrated me with all the ads popping up. This one is, hopefully, it's a little bit better. All right, here we go. So still in Canada. So here we go. AEW. So Chris Jericho starts it off, and he has a match right away with a Commander. Pretty fun match. They let Commander get a lot of his stuff in, but obviously at the end, Chris Jericho wins the match. hits the freaking he hit the code breaker, and then he put him in the walls of Jericho, and that's how he won. Commander tapped out. After the match, Don Callis came out, played a video back all the way back in 1995. Don Callis fucking long hair, and a tag team with Chris Jericho, and their manager telling them always stick together. And then Don Callis is like, hey, obviously that was not the case, man. We ended up splitting apart. But now, man, we're back together, and we would make him so happy if we would get back together. And he's like, you make great points, and then he just walks away. And Jericho's like smiling, looking up at the ceiling. I think he even goes like this for the manager. And even backstage, there's a backstage segment with Jack Hager. And Jake Hager's like, hey man, I gotta know what's going on, man. Are you gonna leave us here in the Jericho Appreciation Society to join the Don Callis family? They're calling it the Don Callis family, but it's basically the BCC, right? That's who he's with now. I wonder if what they're gonna do is they're gonna change the name from the BCC to the Don Callis family, because the reason they named it the BCC, the Blackpool England Combat Club, was because that was the hometown of William Regal. But now William Regal's no longer with them. Is Don Callis going to replace William Regal as the manager, and maybe possibly going to change the name from the Blackpool England Combat Club to the Don Callis family? Who knows? But JK, I need to know, man. I've been here with you, man. I was doing my my MMA career. I was undefeated. In 2019, you told me to leave all that to come here, and I did. So I need to know what's up. And until I don't know what's up, I can't be 100% with you either. And he just takes his hat off and gives it to him. And so Jericho trying to figure things out, supposedly. Let's move along here tonight, man. Jack Perry once again running away. He arrives into the arena in his car. This time, freaking, he's taking the interview from inside the car. Freaking Hook gets into the car. He starts beating him up. Jungle Boy Jack Perry runs away, and the car just takes off. And freaking, I believe Jungle Boy Jack Perry was actually laying right behind on the floor. He was laying right behind Hook, and Hook thinks he was in the car, and Hook just walks away. That was kind of weird. Or I don't know if that was supposed to be somebody else. I don't know. Anyways, and then let's move along here. Freaking MJF and Adam Cole, man. They're at a bar, man, freaking drinking, and MJF goes like, hey, two for me, two for you. Like, no, man, I have a girlfriend, Britt Baker. I really care about her. So then MJF just fucking takes all four of them. And then they're next playing video games. And MJF is like, man, I don't know about this. Like, and then Adam convinces him, like, man. And then later on, they're like, hey, man, I didn't even know playing video games was this fun. I always play them by myself, but with a person, it's more fun. And then Adam Cole just like, think, oh shit, this guy, he doesn't even have friends. That's why he always thought video games were boring, because he had nobody to play them with. So then they just pause the game. He's like, hey, man, honestly, man, you're a pretty cool guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I was going to fucking stab you in the back eventually. And then MJF says, I was going to do the same thing, man. And they just laugh it off. And then they supposedly just won the tag team titles on the Fight Forever video game. But yeah, I mean, my guess is they might drag this on into September for All Out. I don't know. It looks like they might not even have the match at Wembley Stadium and All In. They might just drag it out until All Out in September. The way this is going, this is kind of like the Sami Zayn Bloodline situation, right? Or even the Matt Riddle, Randy Orton. So the breakup is coming eventually. So then we got a freaking we got a tag team match. We got freaking Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. Very fun match here. At the end, freaking Swerve Strickland just interferes, hits Darby Allin in the knee, and then Sammy Guevara hits his finisher off the knee. Is it called a go to sleep as well? I think it is. And that's how they win. Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia win the match. And then we get the match, man. Adam Cole's getting an interview backstage by Renee Paquette before the match. And then Riddick Strong comes up to him and he's like, "What's going on here, man?" He's like, "Hey, MJF is not that bad of a dude." And then MJ sends him a text, "Hey, man, are you ready for the match tonight?" And he's like, "Never mind. I just saw Brian's cage. I'm sick." And then Adam Cole's like, "Hey, man, you're not sick. Come on, let's do this." And then we freaking get the match, man. MJF and Adam Cole versus Brian Cage and Big Bill. That was a hell of a tag team right there. Jesus Christ. Obviously, Brian Cage and Big Bill get their moments. MJF continues to act like a baby face. You know, he comes doing the entrance with Adam Cole, high-fiving the fans on his way out to the ring. But at the end, man, freaking they win the match, man. MJF, Adam Cole hits his hits the boom, his knee up to the back of the head of Brian Cage, and they advance. Adam Cole and MJF advanced in the tournament, and then they said, "Yeah, man, we're gonna win this thing, man. On July 29th at Collision, we're gonna become tag team champions." And then I'm just like, "Because we're better than you, babe," shit like that. So we'll see. Are they gonna? Could they? I can see that if they're gonna drag it out until September and for All Out, I could see them being tag team champions for at least a month, right? That could be part of it, and then maybe that's how they lose the tag team champions. And so I believe years ago, John Cena and Shawn Michaels did not this dramatic, but I do remember them becoming tag team champions. And at the same time, they were kind of feuding for WrestleMania. That was kind of different because they were both baby faces. So they weren't doing like this whole crap, like this storyline where they were pretending to be friends. But because they were baby faces, they you could have them work together. So I remember that they eventually became tag team champions. And then I think Shawn Michaels actually walked into that match with both tag team. Did they? I don't remember. Or did they lose them before that WrestleMania match? I don't even remember. But I would assume, yeah, if they do become tag team champions, they probably will lose them before the next match at All Out for the AEW Championship. All right, let's move along. Then we get freaking Ruby Soho versus Sky Blue, freaking Saraya and Tony Storm interfere. They end up getting ejected, but it doesn't really matter. Freaking Ruby Soho still wins the damn match. So Ruby Soho advances. And then we get the debut of Nick Wayne, he's an 18-year-old, making his debut. I think his father was a wrestler and he passed away. And they were good friends with Darby Allin. So Darby Allin kept training him when his father passed away. They've been passing video packages the last few weeks. But yeah, man, he made his debut in a match with Swerve Strickland. Hell of a match. You could argue this was probably the best match of the damn night. I think his finisher is the cutter off the ropes, like the thing that Cody Rhodes does. And then Swerve Strickland kicks out at the final moment. At the end, he's like kind of saying he's got a fucking shoulder injury and then he can't continue. But the referee doesn't stop the match. And then Swerve Strickland hits the finish and wins the match. So Swerve Strickland beats him. Darby Allin was on the top of the ramp. I was surprised he didn't try to interfere because early in the night, Swerve Strickland interfered in Darby Allin's match and pretty much cost him the match. So I thought it would have been very inappropriate, even though he's a babyface. The fact that it's your friend, your student, and the guy already cost you a fucking match earlier in the night, it would have been very appropriate for eventually maybe Darby Allin to try to cost the Swerve Strickland the match. But he didn't. He just stood up on the top of the stage and cheered him on until the match was over. But we'll see where this kid, Nick Wayne, looks impressive. He's only 18 years old. So we'll see, man. And then I think we got the freaking the final segment, right? Don Callis, going out to give the fifth member. And then freaking Kenny Omega comes out. And as he's coming up to confront Don Callis, John Moxley, Hatabushi. And then the fifth member ends up being the Bastard Pack. They're all freaking beating the shit out of Kenny Omega. And no Willer Yuta, because I think he's hurt now. He hurt his leg last week versus in his match versus Kenny Omega. So it's only John Moxley, Tabashita Hatabishi, and the fifth member, the Bastard Pack. They're pretty much selling that last year they were having that best out of 7 match series, remember? And that Kenny Omega broke, I think he broke his nose. He broke the Bastard Pack's nose. And that's pretty much what they're going off, that these last few months, all I've been doing is recovering and thinking of getting payback on you, Kenny Omega. That's what they're going with. And then they put the freaking chair on the neck of Kenny Omega. And they're about to go to the top rope and hit him. And they start doing that, hey, you have any final words? And Kenny Omega's like, yeah, man. The Elites have a fifth member too. And then the lights go dark. And the Titantron plays a video of Ibushi. So it's fucking Ibushi. The lights come back on. Adam Page is in there. The Young Bucks are in there. They hit their super kicks. Adam Page hits the Shet Lariat. And then they just run away. So then, man, at the end, man, you just got the Adam Page, the Young Bucks, and Kenny Omega, and John Moxley, Takahashi Hachahisha, Don Callis, and freaking the Bastard Pack, just the face off at the end there. And that's pretty much it, man. That's the freaking show, man. Again, I thought for the second week in a row, I thought the second hour was better. By far, probably the best storyline right now is MJF and Adam Cole. That's by far the best storyline. The BCC versus Elites, it's more of a brawl, right? They just beat the hell out of each other. Promo-wise, there's not too much. It's just for like, right? They're just beating the hell out of each other. I think the match is next week already, and they never had all fifth members at the same time, right? No Ibushi, and then neither Will or Yuta for the BCC. So it's like that sucks. We never got like the whole all 5 members at the same time. But yeah, man. Oh well, whatever. But yeah, this was a good show, especially the second hour with the MJF Adam Cole stuff. The match with Nick Wayne and Sir Strickland, that was good. I don't know how much I'm interested in the whole Chris Jericho, Don Callis stuff, but I do think that's where it's headed, that he's going to join the BCC and possibly change the name of the BCC to the Don Callis family, since maybe Don Callis is going to replace William Regal as the manager. We'll see. Does this maybe mean that Chris Jericho is going to end up replacing Bryan Danielson also on the faction? Is Bryan Danielson a lot more hurt than we thought? And that's why they're doing this. They're having Jericho replace him. We'll see what happens. But until next time, I'm finished. The fuck is happening?